And we are live. Good evening, folks.
Hey.
Mobile Geezer here with Friday Night Tech Talk. Of course, Ted is here from TED Talks. And treat of treats, the Joker. The Joker Tech is back.
I'm back.
There you go. Now we're
Welcome
hoping,
back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Welcome back.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
We're hoping Will is coming. As far as we know, Will is on his way in. So hold on. And hopefully you'll have the whole gang back together. All right. Let me recognize who is here first. Of course, Nigel was the first one in.
Was he? I didn't get a chance to see. And
6:19. Yeah. 9 minutes later, Brian. No. 6 minutes later, Eleanor was here. Of course, that's Nigel's big sis. And then right after that, Brian came in. And let's see, I think that's all I've seen. Type anything. Yeah. So Nigel, Brian, and Eleanor. Eleanor says, hi, Mike.
Yes. Hello, Eleanor. I'm still alive. I am still around. And if you you know what? I'm going to just start off with this. If you want to know what I'm doing, it's Instagram. Well, actually, Twitter first, then Instagram, and then Facebook.
Well, I know Eleanor's on Twitter.
It's easier to post pictures and little blurbs and say, "There we go. There's my review. Have a nice day."
Yeah. But you should know, Mike. Eleanor has missed you. She's told me almost every week that she's missed you, so you should be aware of that. Okay. Here's Brian is all saying, "What's up?"
Hey, Brian. I'm back. I'm here. Look out, folks.
So hopefully we'll hang on to him for at least a few weeks. At least that's the impression I have. So.
Yes. Well,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Things are returning to normal. There's some normalcy here.
That whole roof thing. That roof thing was a nightmare.
It's still sort of a nightmare. We're in negotiations. I don't want to give out too much information, but right now we're working out the finer details, mostly the money part, folks. But yeah, at one point, when they had to tear apart the roof for the second time, I had to take everything out of here, and then they destroyed my house that second time, and then there's literally parts of the roof in here, the ceiling, as you see behind me, got cracks all along the seams. You could push on the boards. That's just here. There's wiring that was in the other room going through this door. I care to move the camera, but anyway, there was like electrical wiring got ruined. Then there were the holes. I will.
The holes are terrible.
Did I show you the holes?
Yes, you sent pictures of the holes. Yeah. Oh, you're getting a nice compliment.
Monstrosity.
You never left me in. Great vids on you. Thank you. I'm planning on. I no schedule. I'm just whenever I have a chance, I'm going to put something together and put it out there. You know what I mean?
So. You know who's the best of us who's at putting out videos, in my opinion? It's Ted. Ted schedules things. He gets stuff done ahead of time, and then he puts it out on the schedule that he wants. How he does that is beyond me. I can't do that.
Yeah. I don't know how I do it either. I can't do it the normal way, that's for sure. I can't do it the normal way.
You shoot the video and you schedule it. I had one time I had a rhythm where I had a stack of videos.
That's what Ted always does.
And then just put them, schedule them on the tubes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one time I had that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So can we jump in real quick here? What's everybody's daily driver?
Well, lately I've been bringing all three of my phones to work. So iPhone 12 Pro, that's my number one right now. 2 days ago it was the Pixel, but now it's the Galaxy S20 as my secondary. And of course,
that's why I see the blue bubble.
Of course, the great love of my life, Microsoft Duo. I love this thing.
Now wait, I know you got that wide open like that. Now, does that fit in your pocket?
Yes. Yes,
I asked to demonstrate. All I was just,
Actually, it fits in my pants pocket, and I usually keep it in my upper shirt pocket. Just barely fits in there, but it does fit.
Really?
Right now.
Don't you
lately?
feel
I've been following the channel on this.
I
have to have the screen. But it's a little buggy, first generation. But I love this thing, and it seems like a lot of guys do, So.
So and Ted, you're doing the G8X. Is that am I calling that right?
Right.
Right.
Yep. Still.
That's your thing. That's the only phone you have that you're using, or do you have multiple lines?
Yeah, this is the unlocked one, factory unlocked, straight from LG.
And it's going back to your video. It's working on the Visible right now.
Yeah, perfectly.
Line? Good.
And then I got the iPhone 11 as a backup.
Now, is that have a SIM card in it?
The iPhone 11, no.
No. Okay, so you're just living the one SIM life.
Yep.
Got you.
I guess that makes me Mr. Triple SIM, right? You too.
Know. Well, hey, yeah. I got the. See, I got. Let's see. This phone. Let me tell you, folks. This phone I've been gravitating more and more to.
Tell them what phone it is.
That's the Moto G stylus. But be honest with you, I haven't used the stylus since like the second day. But the size of the phone, and the how clean the operating system is, and as in that video that I did when I first got the phone, man, it was just it was like, this is not normal, between the carrier and the phone. But it was like, it just had, like, you ever get that thing where you had to shake it out and all the dust and dirt and grime comes out? You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. My connection acted up for a minute, so we didn't get all of it.
But basically what happened was, the first week was horrible. Live?
Yes, we are.
We are, because I'm spinning on here.
It acted stupid for a minute, and then it came right back.
Huh. All right.
Because you're seeing the delay just like I am.
Yeah, the delay really, wow, that really kicked. You know what? Anyway, so I noticed that last night. I'm like, going, why am I picking up this phone? I have no idea. I'm just picking up this phone, watching videos, YouTube, doing things, playing games on it, and meanwhile, I have the Pixel 3,
right,
and I still have the iPhone.
Okay.
Those are the ones that got the SIMs. Oh, I lied. I actually, they're the primaries, and then I got the free line from T-Mobile a few weeks back, and that has my S10, and my lonely poor old OnePlus 6 just sitting there crying. It's tearing up right now.
Okay, that's like me and my OnePlus 7 Pro and my Moto G stylus.
Right.
But yeah, my iPhone 12 Pro, my Galaxy S20, and my Microsoft Duo, they keep SIMs in them all the time. But I do switch between the Galaxy S20 and the Pixel 4a as my secondary.
I find that the Moto G, the software is outside of yes, it does hiccup, and you do see. I never thought I would admit this, but I don't know. I got spoiled with the chipset that was way back in the day back in the Moto G5 Plus. I think I had it was the 625 Snapdragon, which I felt ran parallel side by side with the 800 series, and I have no idea what they did with the 600 beyond that, because every other 600 I gotten, it's been a little stutter here and there. But overall, though, this phone I did recommend this phone. My wife's one of 4 million cousins got her on the Unlock Life and got her on Mint Mobile, and I occasionally just pipe in and say, Joni, you okay? Yeah, it's great. Everything's fine. Much better. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but then again, I think anything's better for her coming from a Samsung S5 with 16 gigs of storage.
Way back, 16 gigs is the killer, man.
Okay, she lived another probably 2.5 years. I was pleading with her. Yeah. But she kept right on, just chugging along, trying to do what you. I need to make a formal introduction.
Hello, Carol. I'm glad to hear you. The first thing I did tonight, Carol, was ask Mike how you were. Right, Mike?
Yes. Where's she?
Carol.
There she is. Okay.
Carol, that's Ted. Ted, that's Mike's mom, Carol. A terrific lady.
Yeah, she showed me some tricks. You know what I mean? She's okay for a mom. You know what I mean?
She's okay for a mom. Nice. That wasn't the greatest compliment ever.
I know.
He had a choice.
I'm never going to hear the end of this one.
And next thing you know, he'll say, I think she's a keeper.
Oh, man. Told you I'm in rare form. I warned you guys. You know, what was that last week? I posted in it. I put a comment in there. I just look out. And
hey, we're very happy about that. Now, there were other things you wanted to bring up, right? Oh, and Brian, I guess he liked that 6.
Yeah, the 625 was one of a kind, man. I mean, power efficient and had to just to keep up with the Joneses. It did great. I really feel. And I mean, I had a Moto G7, the G7 for a short time, and it was good. But even that, nothing. Just everything. I'm just.
Well, you didn't keep that one that long.
No, I didn't keep it that long, but. Let's see my mom saying, George, he's going to time.
He's going to be in timeout. See? Good for you, Carol.
Anyway.
Right, now you had some other things you wanted to talk about, right?
Well, you know, okay. Phones. One thing was, okay, I made this video and George, you didn't agree with me. And I really like to know, you know, just having a conversation here. Okay.
Yeah, but remind me.
What was it? I'm just curious because
I don't even remember which video we're talking about. First time
about how I feel that
the Pixel 5 wasn't necessary. I just felt like the cameras improve, even if it's only a little, on each phone. So the Pixel 4. Pixel 4, and I know the Pixel 4a cameras were better than the Pixel 3. And from what I'm seeing, the Pixel 5 is a little bit better than the Pixel 4a. So how can, and you know me, I'm camera first, but how can the Pixel 3, how can they not be needed over the Pixel?
Okay.
You said, do we need it? That's what you said.
Do we need it? Do we need to go and turn people on to a Pixel 5? Okay.
Right.
Do we need to turn them on? Why not a Pixel 4 or a Pixel 3a if there's one that's, you know, still on a discount somewhere?
Time out. Here's Will. Now we're going to get some arguing going.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. You feel better. You feel better, Ted. Now the Mobile Geezer logo is messing with Mike, all right?
Okay.
All right, Will. All right. Brian should be happy because he wanted the whole gang back together. So here we are, Brian.
Will, wake up. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm up.
Come on, man. Come on.
Let me go turn up the light.
No, the lighting is great. Well, he's going to mess with the lighting. All right.
Anyway, Will,
we're talking about what I disagreed with him about. Do we need the Pixel 5?
Oh yeah. George doesn't agree much.
But I'm saying is, you know, Google's going to do what they want to do, obviously. Right. Okay, and they're going to make a Pixel 5 and Pixel 5.5 and Pixel 6 and then proceed to kill apps and redo the event. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, but my whole thing was it wasn't all about the cameras, which though too, if you took your Pixel 5 and you took my Pixel 3,
right,
put them on tripods, and then you were out in that perfect sky that I was in, you could not tell the difference between.
I disagree.
You could not tell the difference.
You could tell the difference.
Totally disagree.
You could not. And it isn't all about the camera.
The new Pixels are cooler.
Huh?
The newer Pixels are cooler. That's the first difference right there.
Especially if you took it at night.
No. Hold on. Ted. It's not cooler because it's not the cool kid's phone. Okay? George has got the cool kid's phone. Let me just make that perfectly clear.
I've got the cool kid's phone.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
No, get the iPhone.
I've got the cool
There
kids.
you go. You got the cool kids
Will,
phone.
did you know this was the cool kids phone?
Now, Will
Yeah, I
got
saw
one
the
too.
video Mike posted.
Yeah, Will got it.
Yeah,
Will got the
Will and I
cool
have
kids
it.
phone. I just got oh, you got Android.
But I agree with Ted. I mean, yes, you are going to see a difference.
George, the
But-
cameras are not that much different.
But
really
there
not.
are some difference, and from the 3
George,
to 5, you can't convince me you're not going to see a difference on the same picture.
George,
Especially
the difference is like Google changed the color temperature.
I
whatever
don't
you
think
wanna
it's
call
just
it.
that. I
That's
don't
the
think
difference.
it's just that.
It's the same, George. I'm telling you.
And if you use night
Especially-
vision, you're bound to see
Especially from what Mike said. Going from what did you say, Mike? From the 4A or the 3?
No, he said from the 3 to the 5.
It's but from the 3 to the 5, you had the 4A.
You had you had the 3A,
The
then
4,
the 4,
the
4A,
George,
and the
George,
4A 5G, then the 5.
Mike's 3, whatever you have, Mike, the 3
I have
has
the
the same. He has the same night sight, same slider, a better chip.
The thing is,
The processor.
This
It's the same. If anything, his phone is going to render the picture faster than the 5.
because
I mean,
probably
the
true.
5 and the 4.
the
And the
neural
4A.
Probably true.
Yeah.
But-
It's not that much different, George. I'm telling you. You get wide angle, that's it.
I think what it comes down to is Mike doesn't see the point in spending the money to get
Because it's really it's like
and I do think it's worth it.
nah,
It's
George,
not.
it's like what's his name said, it's diminishing returns. You barely that little color temperature difference that Ted's talking about is not,
Look,
Where is
There you
Erica?
go. Will
Where's
said
Erica
it,
Griffin when I need her?
diminishing If you have the 3, you don't need the.
and
you
let
don't
me
need the
just
4A or
let me
the 5.
preface it this because everything's about the 5G sauce.
Yeah, that's true.
I just had a coworker tell me about his brand new Samsung S20 FE, and he says, "I'm watching YouTube videos, and they're spooling. Why are they spooling? I thought I had 5G." This is the thing that I was trying to.
Wait. Where was he watching? Was he watching outside, or was he watching on somebody's Wi-Fi?
No, he was on his own network, a Verizon network, Verizon of all things.
Okay, but he wasn't on Wi-Fi of any
No,
kind.
he was not on Wi-Fi. He was using his data plan to watch
That's
football
funny,
stuff.
because both of these phones have 5G, and I get a little bit faster speed with them.
George, you got the best luck in the world.
Well, that's probably true.
Is there a difference between carrier to carrier? There can be, and that's where
You're probably right about that.
it could. I mean, that's why I mentioned to Ted about how visible the MVNOs for Verizon are not. You're not getting full speed, but that's
And Ted did admit in his video that he didn't do his due diligence, and Verizon isn't quite as good at his area as AT&T, right, Ted?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is though too is over time this Pixel 3 is still, if every Pixel drop that comes out, I'm going to get it. And I just saw some words on Twitter saying that the cinematic thingy that they're coming out might be coming to the older phones.
I just read that myself. Yeah, that's coming.
So buying the 5, Mike, like you said, is pointless. You're taking a downgrade in everything except for battery.
Okay, George.
I keep in mind, I do not have the 5 either, so.
Would you recommend?
George, battery is the only thing that you get better.
And
You
the
get a better
widescreen.
battery.
Don't forget the widescreen.
And the what?
The
And
ultra
the
wide.
wide, the ultra wide.
Ultra wide.
Oh, the wide angle. That's not that wide. Yeah. Yeah. The medium wide. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
All right, so it seems to me, and now tell me if I'm wrong, it seems to me that Mike and Will are on the same page, and Ted and I are kind of on the same page.
I'm on the same page, and I bought the 5.
Right. I didn't get the Pixel 5.
Will and Joker. Like, yeah, if you have the 3, if you had the 3 or the 4, then give the 4, the 5, and a miss.
But you see, keep in mind, I do not get the 3 or the 4 or the 5. I get the 3A. I got the 4.
That's what he's. But George, that's what Mike is saying. If you had the 3, and Mike hasn't had the 5, but I'm telling you, if I gave Mike the Pixel 5 and here use this for a week, he's not going to be like, oh, the camera's so different. It's not.
It's clear, folks. We just realized something. You know what Google's trying to tell me? Okay. Right. You said 3 and the 4, that's 7. Add the 5 from the Pixel 5, that's 12. Go get the cool kid's phone. Okay?
Go get the iPhone 12, huh? Man.
It's all about the numbers. Oh,
he just got a direct message from Google. Okay.
Mike just figured it out.
Yeah, Gary's up to his usual stuff.
Yeah.
Wait. Gary, what are you talking about? Gary, yeah, matter of fact, to go from the 11 to the 12, yeah. I bought both of them.
I think the 12 Pro is worth it. If for nothing else, because of the selfie.
I bring it
George, there's no way, George. It's not.
For me, it is.
What did you get from the 11 Pro to the 12 Pro?
I didn't have the 11 Pro. No, I have the regular one.
That answers that question.
Ted, you know what you got? Wait, you did get some stuff that they could have put in the other phone, but they did. They added
LiDAR,
wide angle night mode or something.
Right.
And selfie night mode, or what is it? Right. What is it, George? Selfie portrait, something yes. Selfie.
It's a special that you get in the portrait that you don't have an 11 and you don't have on the regular 12 or the mini.
But Ted, if you're using the main camera, it's not that different. If anything, the older the 11, to me, the photos look more realistic because on the 12 they kind of pumped up the colors.
Now, see, you said that now, and I saw somebody's. I don't remember whose it was today, and they thought the photos. The video on the 12 Pro, they had toned it down. So they're going the opposite way.
I don't know about on the video, but on the photos, the colors are more bright on the 12. To me, anyway. They're not like Samsung level bright, but they're more bright than the 11.
But Samsung has toned it down lately too. Yeah,
it's like Apple went the opposite direction. I don't know.
So anyway, I am loving my 12 Pro. But of course, this is still early days because I haven't had time to go out and do my comparisons, but I'm slowly going to get there. No,
the camera's really good. I think the Pixel lost again this year. But
I agree.
Yeah, they.
All right, Mike, what else you got? What other arguments can you cause?
No, in some of the articles, I'll be throwing out little.
Oh, let me recognize. All right, I didn't officially recognize. Gary is in here. Big House is in here, and Anthony from My Project 13 is in here. Thank you, gentlemen. We're arguing about.
Gary, they're not.
Oh, and then if anybody wants to see the show notes and this. Keep going by. I put the show notes in the link in the description. So.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you know what? Beans, you're giving me this opportunity. I want to just say this. The Pixel camera, yes. Okay. All I have to say is yes. I'm still stunned by the photos I took of the night sky. I know I couldn't do it with this phone.
Which iPhone do you have right now?
iPhone?
I thought you had one.
I have an iPhone. I have the SE 2020 version.
Oh, okay.
I have that. I didn't try that.
Yeah, but the 11 and 12, it'll wipe the mat with night photos with the Pixel.
You really think?
Yeah, but he's talking about the astrophotography though.
Oh, the astrophotography. But what I'm saying is though, what I'm finding with this phone versus the Pixel, which probably are people are going to lose their head over, is that the clean OS on this is so appealing, and knowing that I have
on the Moto
phone, and knowing that I have a stylus, and it goes back again. I can't stop harping. I get the call screening on this.
Okay, yeah, I know you like that.
It It's the bare minimum that Moto can give this phone with the Moto actions, which are nice, the chop and the way, you know, to the camera and all that stuff. But so it's almost like go get this phone from Google Fi, buy it for $149, and eventually be unlocked. And then if you still like Fi, you stick with it. If you don't like it, you just got yourself a $149 phone that has a very clean OS, and most people are not going to like scrutinize the camera. I'm been more and more. It's been turning towards the consumer part of this. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I talk about all this stuff, and I know I have to throttle myself back and go, whoa, hold on, I'm losing them. You know, their eyes are in 5 different directions.
Right.
I gotta like put it that way, and then when I just perfect example. My daughter-in-law's mother needed to get out of her old Sprint contract. She had a iPhone 6 or 6S.
Okay.
All right. And I told her, Dawn, you like the form factor of that phone? Yes. Go get the SE.
Okay.
I told her what to do.
And go to Apple. Advice. I agree.
I told her go to Apple. And I explained to her, don't buy the unlocked one. She even ponied up the extra money to get the extra gig, the storage on it. And then she got the phone. I picked the service. I turned her on to Visible. Right. Thanks to Will.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's down to 35 right now. I got to work on getting people. But the whole she just, I talked to her on the way home. She goes, man, that's so awesome that you can do this stuff, and people just don't realize that. But then you start talking about, all she wants to take is pictures of my grandson and her family. You know what I mean? And if she can get a good shot of that, she's good with that.
But as you say, you're more from the consumer side. But your channel from the beginning, you have always kind of stressed the consumer stuff. So that's kind of your forte in the first place.
In my first place, yes. If somebody sees the pictures, I noticed my one of my nieces, and she's always trying to take astrophotography with her Moto Z2. Okay, and it's like, oh, they're so nice. Oh, so nice. I'm like, but she's shown a sign that if she really wants to up her game.
She's going to be the next techie in the family.
She could, that too. But if she, I could honestly say to her, if you don't mind having a refurbished or used device, get the Pixel 3, because I picked up this Pixel 3 for $175. Like I said in the video, I sold my Pixel 3A for $200. And I'm still ahead $25.
And you don't think the Pixel 3A is better than the Pixel 3? Because I do.
I think they're equal.
Okay.
I think they're equal. And I do admit I like the wireless charging, the knowing that it's waterproof and all that stuff. So okay. Okay. I'll get over.
You think the 3A camera is better than the 3?
No, I think the Pixel 3A overall is better than the 3.
Oh, yeah, the battery.
The
battery's way better.
Yeah, the battery was the big deal.
But what, in the 3? In the 3A?
The 3A is much better battery.
The battery life improved on the 3, didn't it? Once it got a
the battery life on the 3 wasn't that great either.
No, it was pretty bad.
Find out tonight.
Everybody was surprised at how good the 3A's battery life was. But it seems like now they seem to have fallen to a pattern. They come out with the regular phone, and it's always has a problem. Then they come out with the A version, and it's always doesn't have the problem.
Well, there we go.
All right.
I think that's it for now. I don't know. I'll sort out something else.
We've had our arguments. Now, of course, we haven't wound up. We haven't wound up Will yet. We got to wind up Will at some point.
Bull crap, Will. Okay, I know he's going to. You don't. Come on, man.
We'll see. All right, we're going to start. Of course, I'll go with the first story. And of course, this was the big deal this week. I'm sharing it now. And
what was the big deal? The PlayStation?
Apple's new MacBook and MacBook Pro.
Oh.
All right. And don't forget, folks, the link is in the description so you can follow along. So this was on CNET. Apple's new MacBook and Mac Mini could change PCs as we know them. As the insides of computers become more like iPhones, we can expect better battery life, thinner designs, and even maybe a lower price tag. Typically, people talk about the way Apple's devices look, but this time what matters most is under the hood. On Tuesday, Apple announced its first personal computers powered using chips that are more like those in an iPhone than those in a typical PC. The machines are the $999 13-inch MacBook Air, the $699 Mac Mini, and the $1,299 MacBook Pro. That alone is exciting to tech fans, but it's also a sign of what's possibly to come, whether you buy a Mac or not. Apple has said it's going to change the brains of its computers over the next couple of years, starting with the just unveiled machines. Apple is going to throw its weight behind its self-made chips. Most people may not care about a change to a small chip in their Mac computers, but it could mean big changes for Apple and the tech industry too. For the past 14 years, Apple has relied on Intel-made chips to power its laptop and desktop computers. Apple has spent more than a decade on research and development and at least $1 billion buying more than half a dozen companies to create the M1, a chip similar to those in iPhones and iPads, and that takes on Intel. Now, Apple's first computers powered by the M1 have been made available for pre-order and will start shipping next week. Apple says the M1 is more powerful and energy efficient, allowing for potentially smaller and slimmer designs, longer battery life, and new technologies as well. Advancements of this magnitude only come from making bold changes, Apple CEO Tim Cook said during Apple's event Tuesday. He added that Apple's own chips will usher in new technologies and extraordinary battery life from the computers. This is exactly why we are transitioning the Mac to Apple Silicon. For Apple, this moment has been more than a decade in the making. The question that's nagged the company since co-founder Steve Jobs died in 2011 is what comes next. Jobs ushered in the Mac computer, the iMac all-in-one desktop, the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. Since his death, Apple's biggest new product has been the Apple Watch, which has turned into an enormous business. Last year, it outsold by a huge margin the entire Switch watch industry. That's pretty impressive. Still, it's not an iPhone-like dent in the universe. By combining all of its devices under the same chips and common code, Apple will be able to offer an experience that truly spans its desktops, laptops, phones, and watches. The company has already said app developers will be able to create one app and send it to all devices with adjustments for keyboard and mouse versus finger touch and gestures. Now, let me interrupt myself to say, anytime you guys want to chime in on something, I can stop and pick up.
You're
something.
doing a great job, George. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. The result may be a further blurring of the lines between what a computer is and what it's meant to do. The changes are already beginning with Apple's newest computer software, macOS 11 Big Sur, which brings to PCs even more of the icon sounds and general look of the iOS software that powers iPhones. Big Sur will be made available on Thursday for free for recently made Macs. With the current Mac, it's the Mac versus the PC, said Carolina Milanese, an analyst for Creative Strategies. Now, if it behaves like an iPhone, I can manage it like an extension of my iOS devices. And I tend to listen to Carolina because I listen to her and Bob, who comes down later in this article. I listen to their podcast every week, and they're heavy duty into this kind of stuff. What may come? Apple says its transition to new chips may be a little bumpy as app developers change the way their apps are coded to work with this new machinery. In the meantime, Apple promises most of the software we all use, including web browsers, photo and movie editors from all sorts of companies, and even Microsoft's popular Office suite of programs, will work on the new machines on day one. What's likely to change more than anything involves a component other than the chip for the laptop and desktop. Apple's iPhones and iPads don't have fans to keep their chips cool. So far, the company has pulled off that same trick with its MacBook Air laptops, though its new Mac Mini and MacBook Pro do have fans. But aside from those, go ahead. Yeah.
We have I consider a very special person in the chat room, and you want to post his comment there.
Hey, Juan.
Bagnell. And
Juan stops by every once in a while, and we always feel very honored.
I'm honored to have him, here in the first place. So,
and I joined.
I think it's George that's having him, Mike. But
George, having him with us, I mean. Never mind. Don't mind the Joker. He has no idea what he's talking about.
It's good that Juan knows this is a sick group. ARM has been questioning low-power x86 for years now. It's a shame we only pay attention to this kind of stuff when Apple does that, and that's true. But at least, hopefully, Des will take it more seriously now. Good point. Very, very good points. Okay. But aside from those changes and what-if speculation about detachable laptop iPad hybrids, Apple watchers seem hard-pressed to come up with design change ideas. Writers note, Apple, please bring back the MagSafe magnetic charging cables to the laptops, pretty please. Another longer-term play may be the integration of cellular service into these types of mobile chips. Computers with built-in cellular radios have been niche products at best, but these kinds of processors are designed to work with cellular radios. People buy connected iPads all the time. A connected MacBook Air isn't a huge leap. I totally agree with that. Though it's not likely to come out anytime soon, cell carriers like AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon will probably be eager to get 5G into a future generation Apple Silicon-based MacBooks. That's probably true, too. By switching to its own chips and away from the ones made by Intel, Apple will get more than the expected performance and power efficiency boosts. It'll be able to more closely tune its software to work with its specialized apps, for example.
So there's no modems?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And the company will also be able to manage manufacturing. When you control your own destiny, you control your own parts, you can save money, said Bob O'Donnell. Yeah, he's the other one I listen to every week along with Carolina Milanese. Generally, O'Donnell said chip prices make up at least 20% of the laptop's cost. If Apple were to turn those savings into lower prices, it could attract new people who now just won't pay or can't afford the company's laptops, which start at $999. It may also spark consumer interest and spur competition from other PC makers who so far only toyed with using mobile phone chips and computers, though with just under 7% market share in 2019, according to IDC. But the Apple credit card could be the company's true ace up its sleeve, analysts say. Putting Mac on a 2-year interest-free installment plan could get people hooked on the idea of buying a computer for about $42 a month. Not me. Generally, getting the Mac into a larger population could be huge, O'Donnell said. Regardless, Apple's move is bound to make waves, both by showing us how powerful its iPhone chips are and potentially spurring the industry to change their devices to keep up. This is the biggest announcement in computers in a long time, tweeted Steven Sinofsky, a venture capitalist who oversaw Microsoft Windows software division more than a decade ago. The real impact is the direction this takes things.
I don't know much about computers, to be honest with you.
Okay.
All I know is, what's the big deal with all this? I hate to sound in that way,
well,
but really, in layman's terms, as they say.
Well, it's like
here, let me bring more.
Guy always says, I forget his name, but he always goes about like, our computers, our phones are so powerful, and we can do desktop things on them. And like myself and George, like we use our iPad Pro to edit video.
Right
now, since with ARM chips that Apple has, all the computers that Apple is going to be bringing out has the same M1 chip. They're all powerful, and you can basically just do the same things that we've been doing on our phones for the last 3 years, if not more.
Right. I mean, so are we seeing a potential crossover though too?
Yeah, that's that.
I mean, I go to my T-Mobile store and get one of these iPads. I mean,
And
I
one
don't
iPad.
care, you know what I mean? And put it on my plan, which I never will do anyway. I
I
can't.
mean, I think for me the biggest thing as a consumer when Apple moved to their ARM M1 chips was that I don't have to go into the store and say, okay, I need a video editing machine. Which one did I have to go to? Like okay, like I have to configure the RAM and pick which CPU one. Like they all can video edit. They all have very good like processing power. They just have different like hardware tools.
And then that's where see again. Who is this for? Who's this computer for? Where is this? I mean, are we going for big business though too, or
No. Who this is for is Apple, because they can stop paying Intel and probably make it a lot better, in my opinion.
right?
That's
And I saw
really
comments about the developers, and I guess we're going to see more of a cross.
Yeah, you're going to see much more of a crossover between
phone or
and Mac.
iPad
Yeah.
or that. Okay.
Oh, let me recognize Serrano. Serrano's in here, so good to see you, Serrano. Glad you stopped by, brother.
Oh yeah, Juan also mentions it. Great battery life too.
Okay, let's see.
We're talking like phone life battery on these MacBooks.
Yeah, every article I've read, everybody seems to agree that battery life is going to be a big deal. The battery boost, basically.
There are downsides though, which you as soon as you like start delving into one when you buy them, the problems I've noticed right off is it seems like there's a maximum of 16 gigabytes of RAM. I guess that's an ARM thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised about that.
The second cons is with Intel's architecture, like Apple had a way where you can like connect, the USBs on both sides for like dual pass-through to like set up like dual 6K monitors.
Right.
These ARM chips don't really support that, so you can only have them on one side.
Okay, here's some more support from Juan for what you're saying. Okay, the downside: early Macs running ARM will have no upgradability, no repairability.
Yeah.
The software optimized for ARM will be locked to the Mac website. And I've read a couple of articles already that say the only way you're going to be upgraded is to take it into Apple.
Yes, it's exactly like when you open up your phone. Like there's nothing you can change in there. So too, the same thing with these MacBooks and the Macs.
Now Brian is making the ultimate point, and Juan is agreeing with him, and they're right. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And this is what Apple does it. But the good thing is Apple does this, but they're good at what they do. They'll lock you in, but you'll be locked into something that works.
But all right, let me ask you this, George. What are you using to edit your videos right now?
I'm using MacBook Pro. I mean the iPad Pro.
You did okay? Because last time I talked to you, you were doing. And this is a while back, mind you. You were still using your Windows PC.
Yes. Yeah, and I bought the iPad Pro 2020 specifically to make it my editing machine. And my last two were the first full. I did all my editing on the iPad Pro, so that's what I bought it for.
And you're having success with that?
Yeah, I'm still in the learning curve with LumaFusion and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the speed that it processes stuff and renders stuff, it's way better.
It is.
Hot knife through butter. That's the term we use.
Yeah.
Right. And Ted, what you use an iPad also to do your?
Yep, iPad Pro 11-inch.
But you've been using it for a while, right? I just started.
Yeah, like
Jay Will said that's what he uses too.
Yeah, the heaviest things I do is like edit 4K 200 megabit files, video files, or like batch edit raw files on Lightroom.
And that's why I felt I needed it, because I do so much 4K shooting these days. Well, yeah, now rendering is a whole lot better.
Yeah, in fact, that was my problem. Like I just have this MacBook. Where is it? Get over here! Yeah, come out. Like I was thinking about whether I should upgrade to my MacBook 2015.
Right.
But I was like, everyone was saying like, an iPad Pro can do it so much better. So I was like, okay. And it saves me money too. For $700, I got a tablet that can do it all. And now consumers have this that same advantage now. They don't have to think about, okay, what device do I get for this certain task? They all can do it. It's just, it's just one of those like few nitpicky things. Like, do you want to have a really big display and not have to carry it around, or is portability a thing with you?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what would you recommend for a laptop to somebody? Would you recommend one of these?
Now, no. It's not yet. I'd actually advocate that you wait.
And the reason why you're going to wait?
Just to see who supports it better. Like,
and to see what the developers do with it, because the developers have to make some changes, right?
Yep. Like there's Adobe. Like Adobe is saying, Photoshop is gonna come in like a year. So in terms of Adobe's timeline, that could probably mean 2 years. Because remember, that's how long it took for them to bring Photoshop onto the iPad Pro.
Yeah.
And it was still missing features. So
funny, that comment right there. I don't know. I have this editor on my Moto G stylus. What is it now? The U-Cut video editor, and I actually did some B-roll on that, and it was very tempting to. That was about the only time I did anything with the stylus was that time when I did. I almost dropped my stylus. So, but yet though that's very true. To use it more. One of those things you use it more, the easier it comes. But I found it quite easier.
Of course. And that's what I'm finding with the iPad Pro.
Right. So so funny. You guys are saying iPad Pro, but yet we got this monster laptop just got announced. So
that's what I've been thinking of. Like, like apparently this MacBook Air is going to be so strong and all. So I was shopping for it. Yesterday I was on the website.
Right.
And apparently, like, for me, like the biggest draw for me would be like the bigger, SSD. But once you start speccing it out, it creeps. This is the MacBook Air, the one that starts at $1,000. You can spec it out.
It creeps up.
$2,000.
So
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And that's up to 1 terabyte storage. So the price really sneaks up on you.
So comparison to a new, it's funny. I just saw last night, I think it was a Dell commercial of all things. I saw a Dell commercial on primetime TV, and they were hyping up on their XPS laptop.
Yeah.
And is that also fanless and not upgradable? Does that still fall in that ugly syndrome that was pointed out with it's kind of like locked in, or is that a laptop that you can do upgrades to?
No, I think you can upgrade an XPS as far as I know.
Dell laptop?
So the Dell XPS.
The PCs you can
upgrade those.
Even the newer ones like
except with the Ultrabooks though, I don't think you can upgrade the RAM. I think they sold on the RAM, but not you can upgrade the SSD though, and the Wi-Fi card and whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at this comment from one. The thing I like about phones, you often have the better camera on the phone, and then you never need to transfer footage. The second you finish a shot, you drop it into your timeline.
Yeah, and in fact, if I don't know if you saw him, George, during CES, what was it, 2019 or 2018? Like he had the LG V30 on his home. Like he had his.
I saw that. Yes, I did see that. Yes.
And I guess there's he was able to like save time by shooting the video, then edit on it, and then upload straight from the phone.
Yeah, because he had
comfortable.
Because he had what's his name in his videos too. How can I forget his name? Is the one? Huh?
No, not a woman.
No, what's? I've met the guy like 5 or 6 times, and I can't remember his name.
Oh well. But I think here's a good. Why is it like just Apple now getting serious into it? Like the only time I feel like this was ever done, sort of close, was when Snapdragon brought out the everyday books, the always on PCs, which had the Snapdragon 8CX whatever processors.
I don't know that.
You never heard of them? You guys, you've heard them. George.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about.
No, I don't know.
using Qualcomm's chips in some of them. So, and Brian, I'm guilty of it.
Those are ARM laptops technically. So they had great battery life, and because they were ARM chips from Snapdragon, they had a great modem inside. I don't know, like people weren't happy with the performance or whatever because they had to run Windows, and I guess they didn't run Windows so well.
I want to buy up. I kind of was like warming up to the idea of the computers that you just mentioned about speccing it out.
Right.
So you're starting at $1,000 and go on and on and on.
Exactly.
So again, the professional.
No, it doesn't go all in all because it's only
how far you can go with this thing.
For the RAM, you only have two options: 8 gigabytes or 16, and then the SSD is the only thing you can go on and on up to like 2 terabytes.
Right.
So where does that put you in a price range?
Well, if you get 16 gigabytes of RAM, which I think you have to for because you don't really know how when developers are writing codes for this ARM chip, you don't know what the RAM usage is going to be. So
how much RAM they're going to be using.
16 gigabytes of RAM,
Mm-hmm.
but then if you go up to 1 terabyte of SSD, it's like $1,800 north of that.
Okay.
And then if you go 2 terabytes, it's like 2,400 or something.
Wow.
And again, MacBook Air, not the MacBook
Pro. You disappeared on us. Are we boring you?
I'm just listening to this computer stuff. I'm listening, George.
All right, let's go on to the next story because the next story is still about the same subject, but not so glowing. So I'm going to share the screen. This is the one by Android Authority. Anybody volunteer to read this one?
You put 3 of these. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the screen. Yes. Wait, give me a sec. All right, this is on Android Authority. All right, whenever you're ready.
Job. All right. Apple's.
Are you ready yet?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just barely, but you turn your face away. It's hard to hear you.
All right.
Thank you.
Apple's new event yesterday introduced the ARM-based M1 chip as its new Apple Silicon chipset and announced 3 new Macs that will support the no longer Intel hardware. The 13-inch MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, and surprise, the Mac Mini. The new Macs look just about identical with some keyboard changes, and the main promise is more battery life right now. To be clear, these are the low-end Macs getting a boost. They go on sale next week at more or less the same prices as the current Intel versions. We haven't seen any reviews yet from independent sources. So the M1 chip. Finally, we have some limited detail into the first silicon system on a chip for Macs, built on a 5-nanometer process with 16 billion transistors, 4 performance cores, 4 high-efficiency cores, and up to 8-core GPU and a 16-core neural engine. Ooh, on a side note, apparently the Macs with the new M1 chips, the CPU and the GPU are able to share RAM. Huh, neat. So again, it pays to really go pick that 16 gigabyte option for RAM. The integrated chipset means buying a new Apple Mac with its silicon is more like an iPad. You only choose RAM plus storage size. I was supremely disappointed that Apple didn't give us real data on what it has here with the M1. We only saw a glimpse through the Apple tinted glasses and animations. Much of what Apple said was carefully or even bizarrely framed to look great. For example, it promised on many occasions up to 5 times better CPU performance or up to 3 times better GPU performance. But the key is that it depends on your reference, and it turns out Apple does release the fine print, but that comparison makes comparisons clearly weak. You remember, George, on my Tuesday show where I read that fine print.
I should say that I've seen a couple of articles that kind of agree with that they seem intentionally vague, and MKBHD kind of implied the same thing. Go ahead.
But you remember on the Tuesday show where I read the fine print?
Right. Yes, right. That's right. You did.
They were comparing it to
But
the
don't you think they were kind of intentionally vague too with some of it?
Yeah, well, yeah, especially with that graph. But for like, where they were doing the comparisons, but like, 6 times faster. And then when I read at the fine print, as
Right.
compared to the Mac Mini with the i3 processor.
Yeah, that's what he did in his Tuesday live show. He went to see, okay, what are you comparing this with? Well, it was down in the bottom in the fine print.
The questionable one was, latest PC
Yeah.
laptop in its class. The
Yeah.
crux of
And
that is
I made the comment, you can make in its class anything you want. The automobile manufacturers do that all the time.
Yep. Of course, I think when they said that, I was thinking, in its class as, Ultrabooks, right?
Well, that's what they said. What did they mean by in its class? That doesn't really mean anything, in my opinion.
Well, when you say it's an Ultrabook, Intel basically has the rules on what an Ultrabook is. It has to be an i5 processor. It has to be dimensions so, and so.
Okay.
But that's an assumption. I'm making an assumption. Maybe they had something else in mind when they said it in its class.
Right. Here's Juan's comment about just what we're talking about here. Apple's always cagey about performance claims. They never lie, but it's really the truth.
Yeah. You have to have a gun to their head if you want to let them know how much RAM they have in their tablets or their phones. Like, how much RAM is in it? You don't want to talk about RAM. RAM is not important in life.
Well, they never talk about specs much, But this comment he's making, everyone pretty much agrees with this as far as the chip goes. All right, go ahead.
Let's see. Apple is super careful to pick and choose its figures here. The MacBook Air is $999, yet it should be faster than most PC laptops. Is it faster than $999 laptops, though? Final point on this. Only one of the top 50 best-selling PC laptops from Amazon costs more than the MacBook Air. PCs, for many people, aren't gaming or pro-creative devices. And the reason I'm letting myself be frustrated explained in this fabulous deep dive from AnandTech, which is as close as we'll get to knowing M1 performance now. Apple claims the M1 to be the fastest CPU in the world, given our data on the A14 beating all of Intel's designs and just falling short of AMD's newest 5950X Zen 3, a higher clocked Firestorm above 3 GHz, the 50% larger L2 cache, and an unleashed TDP. We can certainly believe Apple and the M1 to be able to achieve that claim. The likely performance,
and that's what you led last. That's what you led last week's Friday Night Tech Talk with, right? That AMD.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Ted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like AMD's still in the business. As long as you're building your own PC, though. The likely performance and Apple's ability to improve its platform through the years looks astonishingly good and makes Intel looks astonishingly slow. We're looking forward to independent benchmarks very much. Mac OS Big Sur is out. Well, it's out today. It's out by now.
Exactly. I did make the point of doing Ted's live stream that it seems to me that Intel is slowly fading. It's like seems to me they're starting to get beat up by a lot of people. And a lot of things are starting to beat them,
Yep.
So.
There's some consistent L's. They couldn't make 5G modems, or any good modems for that matter.
Exactly.
Couldn't make small TDP low thermal chips to compete against ARM.
Yeah. So I think personally, I think
10
Intel's
nanometer chips in
trouble.
time. Like, I don't know. Oof. But I don't know. Like, Intel's huge. Like, maybe they got something up their sleeves.
I hope so.
They need something up their sleeves.
We've seen a lot of tech companies that we use, especially in the stuff that we follow. All of a sudden, they're not so huge in a few years. So that's all I'm saying.
Huawei, ZTE.
Well, not just Huawei and ZTE. I'm talking back to LG. Used to be, way up there, and who else? It's been a number of companies.
Motorola,
BlackBerry,
HTC.
HTC,
Yeah,
HTC,
this comment, though, someone said above, It reminds me when people. Well, I used to work in Best Buy. People would like usually buy like a $400 or $300 like Windows laptop, and then when
Right.
they buy like a $1,000 like MacBook, they're like, ooh it's so good. Windows are trash. And I'm like, maybe if they just price parity. Just I don't know how Apple like. Never mind.
Well, Juan's also making this point about the camera sensors at 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max.
Huh.
See, I'm loving my 12 Pro, but it's only because I bought it because it was the cheaper I could get the LiDAR sensor in. So
the LG shield is correct though. LG actually grew this year in 2020.
Okay.
I
see. I didn't realize this. That
Samsung lost market share this year, and LG gained.
But Samsung just passed Huawei again too.
Right, that's global sales though, and we're talking about
global.
But let's see omissions. Let's see. It's genuinely curious that Apple didn't include 4G LTE connectivity. Yes, why didn't they? Not even Intel probably doesn't have. Well, yeah, not even 5G. Agree. Just as it does with its iPad range, which many people love. Not that Macs have made this in the past, but ARM-based chipsets and modems are the bread and butter of Apple's iPhone and iPad. It makes too much sense, really. And yeah, this is like a revenue stream. They could charge more, like on an add-on. They just left money on the table. I don't know why Apple didn't do this. I guarantee Apple does this at some point. It may just be wanted to offer the equivalent device for now and later add some more features and complexity to its range and future updates. Yes, well, actually, no, I don't know. Maybe it'll be on the MacBook 16. Apple didn't put out a touchscreen version of Mac either. I'm not sure if that's ever going to come out. Questions?
I think it will.
What's the difference between new MacBook Air and MacBook Pro? Apple didn't make this clear, but the Air does have a 7-core GPU, the Pro 8 cores, plus a USB-C power port on the Pro. And aside from that, the Air is lighter and thinner, and the Pro is heavier, and that gives the Pro 2 more hours of battery life, a fan, a touch bar, louder speakers, better mic, and the screen could go up to 100x brighter. It just seems the difference here make the Pro better, but $300 better? I think that's a lot for $300. Oh boy, I can't wait for comparisons. Apple brought the Mac startup sound, and it brought back the I'm a PC ad guy, but it didn't bring back Justin Long. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. What Qualcomm is saying. Despite their legal entanglements over modems over the past years, Qualcomm represents an ally of sorts for Apple, and the San Diego company sees Apple's ARM-based desktop chips as a catalyst for real change, which it should also benefit from. We're actually pretty excited about their announcement because we feel it is acknowledging the journey we've been on for a couple of years. They're acknowledging that ARM is a significant ecosystem PC, no longer equal to just x86, said a company rep. We know that we're going to be driving a lot of the same things Qualcomm started a couple of years ago, driving innovation in form factors, thin and light, and battery life, and so on. But Qualcomm did point out issues it has seen itself with its ARM-based chips, and those are legacy apps. Having emulators to bridge the legacy ecosystem with the new ecosystem is good, but you will have challenges, a company rep said. There's a lot of very badly written old software out there, and the emulators don't resolve all of that. So as you can imagine, over the past years, it's like a whack-a-mole knocking them out one by one. Screw Qualcomm, because they could have always done this, especially for Chromebooks. They just didn't want to support it longer than 2 years.
Okay, yeah, that's a point. All right, we should move on because I want to get Will involved. Well, he's disappeared again. All right. Let's move on, and I'm going to skip the next story because it was another one on that. Want to go to the MagSafe one?
Yeah, I'll do that one.
That's a real short one, and I'm trying to get it up. I've got 4 windows open, so I'm sharing the screen now. Okay, this is on The Verge. All right, Michael, you're ready.
The Apple MagSafe Duo charger is overpriced and under-delivers. It's nice, but not that nice.
Right.
Although there's no shipping date for it yet, Apple has sent out review samples of its upcoming MagSafe Duo charger to reviewers. It's a travel charger that combines Apple's new MagSafe charging puck with an Apple Watch charger and USB-C to Lightning cable. It costs $129, but that price doesn't include a USB-C charging brick.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Really? That surprised me too.
Okay. And I did read this, and then just still got the same reaction. Really?
Yeah.
No, you can buy that for an additional $20. Apple is safeguarding the environment. The environment of making money.
They keep telling us that.
You'll need to buy it separately, and you'll need to make sure it can supply at least 20 watts of USB PD power. So that
20 watts. In that case, you have to buy the $40 charger, not the $20.
So that can fast charge your iPhone. Apple sells one for $19. $129 is $100 more than what I want to pay for a wireless charger that can charge my phone, AirPods, and Apple Watch at the same time. The charger doesn't fold up into a neat little package, but it can't fast charge my iPhone at 15 watts, but it uses USB-C instead of Lightning, and that little Lightning shows that it's working. The regular MagSafe charging puck costs $39.
And I bought that. I have that right here.
Pictures. Okay. Apple's MagSafe Duo charger is made out of a kind of rubbery white material that looks nice.
You even said that, rubbery. I like it.
Yes. It looks nice, and when it comes out of the box, but it's made by press molding the two sides together. That means there's a huge kind of seam running around the outside of it. I still think it's a weird design trend. See the Surface keyboard and the iPad Smart keyboards. The rubber hinge between the two sides also develop creases immediately.
Okay, so right there.
So right there, $129, and you're getting a crease. Yeah. Well, heck, you go out and buy one of those folding phones, you already get a crease, and you spend $2,000 right there.
I thought it was the same thing. Yep.
Okay. Because of the material, it's just a little grippy. It does an incredible job of picking up any dust or dirt you might. Yeah, we pick white. Why? For aesthetics, it looks nice, looks pretty, but
when it's clean, yeah.
But our hands, are constantly, no matter what. Thanks, Juan. It just works.
Juan's making another good point here. Yeah, I'm not buying any of this crap from Apple either. I don't think Juan is either.
Mm-hmm. Within 2 minutes of taking it out of the box and taking photos, it was dirty. The dirt is picked up. It's picked up wiping. The dirt is picked up, wiped off. And I trust that it will be easy to clean with just a little water, me being isopropyl alcohol, but it's still a bummer that you need to do it in the first place. Since it folds in half, and you don't need since it does fold in half, you can do a little trick when you fold it backwards and just charge the iPhone. That's neat. the Apple Watch charger flips so you can use it as a nightstand in a nightstand mode.
I like that.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. If you buy the MagSafe Duo charger, you'll need to teach yourself the proper way to take. Oh my God! You need to teach yourself. I'm just having flashbacks to that whole thing with the iPhone. You're holding your iPhone wrong.
Holding it wrong. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I just had that flash there. You need to press down a little on the pad because the magnets are strong. That the force of gravity on the mass of the dock. It is a well-made. It's a well-made object to be sure. There are magnets that hold it together when it's folded in either direction. The hinge on the watch charger is firm and smooth. The heft of the whole object helps make it feel nicer, and it is somewhat satisfying to snap close. It also helps ensure the whole kit and caboodle doesn't vibrate off the table when you get a phone call. I think Apple did a wait a minute. So you buy a slippery phone, you have to put it in a case. But you don't want to put it in a case, you buy a $129 charger so it doesn't slip off. Oh, okay.
That's why I only bought the regular MagSafe charger.
Anyway, I think Apple did a good job of executing the design, but it's probably not the design I would have gone with. And also, it's not worth $129.
Okay.
There are many good ideas to build into MagSafe. I continue to think that having a wireless charger that uses magnets to automatically align the coils for maximum efficiency is a good idea.
And I've found that that's not quite true. I like my MagSafe charger, but there are times I put the iPhone on it and it's not quite lined up and I have to move it half an inch and then it doesn't automatically hit the right spot.
You have wireless chargers, George, right?
Yes, I just wanted to. I wanted the mag, and people think the MagSafe is going to be a big deal, but the coils automatically aligning doesn't happen every time.
On the iPhone, that's when it's going to be a big deal. I don't think you have to jump the gun to get it now.
Well, I got. Do you mind? I don't need that. Wait. Now the old guy.
Okay.
I don't need some young whippersnapper to. I love it when I sound like an old man.
Please don't post Juan's comment. Please not that.
Anyway, I know Apple has and other manufacturers create lots of MagSafe charging accessories that improve the experience of needing multiple cables and AC adapters to plug in all of our stuff. I hope that happens because I would hate to see somebody feel like they ought to buy the MagSafe dual charger.
Yeah, I won't be buying the dual charger either. I can just stick my watch.
I'm gonna start this conversation with this. A few months back, I did a little thing about how USB Type-C charging and all its protocols and it's all jacked up, and it's not all what it's cracked up to be. This is why we have the predicament we have now, I think, personally. We have all the charger for this and we have a charger for that. We have a cable for this and we have a cable for this. Right. And there's no set standard in the industry. And this is more than just the Wild West we're having. Again, I'm going to ride my little.
I agree 100%.
Pony and say, let's find new ways to manipulate the market and get people to spend their money on stuff. Like
that's what Europe was trying to fix. Europe actually passed a resolution. All phones have to have USB-C.
Yeah,
that's actually waiting to be passed, but
what happened with that? There's a. I'm sorry. This I didn't think of having this documentation, but there is a little society clicky group that is overseeing how USB Type C power or USB for data transfer handles this stuff.
Right.
And they're not locking down saying, look, this does for phones and this does for data transfer, whatever. It make it more streamlined.
Right.
I had to go out and buy a new charger for my wife's Chromebook.
Right.
I couldn't use my USB Type-C charging cable and a brick to charge her phone. I had to buy the proprietary one that goes with that one.
The proprietary stuff is a pain in the butt.
So now let's fast forward. You're buying this white $129 charger,
right?
Okay, and it takes a dump on you. First off, I wouldn't buy a $129 wireless charger. I get the ones from Anker, the ones that stand up,
and that's what Big House just said here.
All right, Big House. I think you can get some of them as a pair for $25 on Amazon, and Black Friday is coming, so there's going to be a good name brand, good ones, Anker, Nalki. Yeah. But this is just nuts. This is insanity here. 1 minute they're telling you we're going to take the charger out, yet they come out with this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
now you make very good points.
So
and Juan agrees with you about the Chromebooks. The Zero Lemon, another good one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is also a Wild Wild West thing I've noticed is phones with the carrier support. England, may they rest in peace, they actually passed a law that says all phones have to come unlocked. So all phones that go to UK markets, they support all networks. Here it's a hold your breath sort of situation.
Well, we're in that kind of stuff. We're always behind,
We're not behind. We're not behind. No, the dealings are behind the closed doors, George.
No, but I'm saying when England or the EU passes something where the companies say you have to do it this way, that's the law. But we're always behind in that.
Right. But because the EU doesn't take payola, okay?
No,
they don't.
This isn't.
I disagree with that entirely.
UK. That's not the EU.
Okay, the carriers are.
This is just Britain, but the EU. I think the EU is very good at getting their hands in the pockets of big companies. They're real good at that. Remember all those articles I wrote?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, they can stand to lose a few monies.
Okay. So now we're going to a totally different topic.
Okay, what's we got?
I hope we get Will back. I think we're boring him. Maybe the stories like they're boring.
He's also a little tired. He's got to go to work the weekend too, and then he jumps back into school.
Okay. Well, hopefully he'll jump back. All right. So I'm going to share the screen on this story, and I'll read this one. I just thought this was an interesting story. This is on Tech News World.
Wasn't this the app that
my brother
Republican senator started? Is this Ted Cruz's app?
What? Ted Cruz? Really?
Oh, and Juan makes it very what I said about us always being behind, and I agree with him completely on that statement.
I have faith in.
I'm sorry. That's just fluttery, dreamy, floaty things. I'm not downing Juan saying what he's saying, but I still strongly feel that the big three, which were four at one time, all have their hands in certain people's pockets, and they're going to find a way.
I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I agree with one. It's up to our government, just like Britain's government and just like the EU, make them do it the way they should do it. That's all. But we're always behind in that.
Do the right thing.
Exactly.
Right now, he might want to look like he wants to keep his job, so maybe you might do a 180 and start being useful.
But what Britain is doing and what the EU does in their favor is, if you're not going to do it the right way, your companies, we're going to make you do it the right way. Otherwise, you can't do business here, and we have to do that same stuff, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I like about UK policies. Like, they like to pretend like they're for the common person, and for the most part, on the very tangible stuff they are. Like, one thing I loved while I lived there was like, you can use your bank card at any bank, withdraw money, and there's no fees.
That's great. That's great.
There's no fees.
That I don't think will ever happen here. That's for sure. All right. This is on Tech News World. Social media upstart Parler, which I had never heard of, tops App Store charts. A social media platform that bills itself as a non-biased free speech alternative to outfits like Twitter and Facebook has seen a surge in interest in its mobile app over the last week that culminated Sunday in it becoming the top free app at the Apple App Store. According to Fox Business, the Parler app has been downloaded 310,000 times in the last week alone. People trust Parler because Parler trusts people. Parler CEO John Matze, I think it's Matze, said in a statement, "We welcome all to join our platform, which emphasizes free speech and open discourse. A number of factors may be fueling the fervent interest in the app. We've had a few recent events that have drawn people to it," noted Karen Kovacs-North, director of the Annenberg Program on online communities at the University of Southern California. One is the election. A second is the crackdown by social media platforms on misleading news, which conservatives feel is unfair crackdown on their opportunity to communicate with each other. Well, okay. Another is a rush of conservative thought leaders to Parler and urging others to go to the platform, which is a sort of Twitter for conservatives, she added. Parler's target audience seems to be users disenchanted with existing offerings on the internet. They're definitely targeting a demographic that wants to find an alternative to the other social media companies like Twitter and Facebook. Mike Horning, an associate professor of multimedia journalism at Virginia Tech University, told Tech News World. Parler's whole pitch is essentially Twitter, but more conservative friendly, added Julian Sanchez, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, a public policy think tank in Washington, D.C. I think everybody knows the Cato Institute. That's the sole real distinguishing feature they're offering. So I think it's safe to say that interest in the platform is almost entirely an expression of dissatisfaction with the more aggressive moderation policies being adopted by legacy platforms, he told Tech News World. This dissatisfaction with Twitter and Facebook is the central value position of Parler, maintained by Charles King, the principal analyst with Pundit, a technology advisable firm in Haywood, California. I never heard of Haywood, California. I don't know whether it's measurably growing or if the app's sudden popularity simply reflects disappointment over the election. The real measure will be in seeing whether the app's downloads grow and how much time users spend on our platform. I agree, because once the election is settled, what will happen to this thing? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Parler did not respond to our request for comment for this story. Parler is selling itself as a friendlier to online free speech than other platforms, but Sanchez maintained it's not clear that is the case. Some progressives say the platform doesn't seem to have any problem censoring speech from the left. So they're doing the same thing. Come on. What does seem to be true is that they're not doing the kind of flagging and fact-checking of misinformation that Twitter and Facebook have rolled out and intend to permit a lot of content that might be restricted as hate speech elsewhere. This is an advantage primarily from the perspective of those who feel the incumbent platforms have gone too far in limiting acceptable user speech, and especially those who believe policy on the incumbents to be tainted by political bias. Despite its recent popularity, Parler is unlikely to pose much of a threat to established social media platforms, Sanchez noted. Well before the election, we saw a lot of prominent folks on the right make a show of setting up Parler. I never even heard of it till this week, but virtually all of them are still on Twitter because that's where the audience is. That's true. It's easy to forget in an election year, but social networking platforms aren't just about sharing political content, and at least at present. Parler is really marketing itself almost exclusively to folks on the right who care intensely about that kind of content, he explained. That might be enough of a market niche to keep it afloat as an alternative for the audience, but it's not a recipe for seriously challenging the incumbents. At the end of the day, anyone who wants to reach a wider audience is still going to meet accounts on Facebook and Twitter. I agree. Even if Parler were aiming at a wide audience, it would face a problem common to any upstart social media platform trying to compete with the heavyweights in the market. The problem in all these new social media startup space is getting a critical mass. You need a critical mass of users to incentivize people to go there. If you're on Facebook, it's probably because your friends and family are there. If you go to another social platform and there's no one there, it's not much fun. Critical mass is also important for attracting advertisers. I totally agree, which is how startups keep the lights on. Advertisers look for sizable audiences and demographics, King said. In the most optimal circumstances, those dynamics fuel one another, but it takes a long time of fun. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest, but it does seem, now I thought about looking at it, but I never even got around to looking at the app. But it does seem like if they're trying to give conservatives some place to go, the only advertisers you're going to get, I would think, of this kind of advertisers you get on Rush Limbaugh or you know what I mean?
I can't believe that guy won a medal.
What guy?
Rush Limbaugh.
He won. Oh, the medal of, what did he get? The Medal of Freedom, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was Trump's decision to give it to him. You know. I mean, I think they are friends, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting, but I got to agree. I don't think it's, you know, especially once the election is over, I don't think this thing is going to go anywhere. Let's see.
So when you sign into the app, they want a phone number or an email. Let me go to my app.
Yeah,
where
and Juan makes a good point. Conservatives who want to troll liberals won't stick with Parler. They don't want to be a room with only their kind. They'll want to spread grief on a larger path. And this is what both sides, especially, you know, the media and the radio people, this is what both sides do. They have to go after the other side. And that's why they're so
I thought they would be happy in an echo chamber, though.
Be happy what?
In an echo chamber, you know.
No, because one is absolutely right. Why is Rush Limbaugh rich? Why is what's that guy who I can't stand? Sean Hannity. Why are these guys rich? If they didn't have somebody to pick on, they wouldn't be nobody. So one is completely right there. I agree. You know. And what is their stock and trade? Their stock and trade is bad mouthing, calling people stupid, and both sides do that. And I keep saying, how are we going to put the country together when all they do is keep calling people names? You know?
Are you talking about tech reviewers just now? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the
I know. I'm messing with you. Sometimes drama on the.
Somebody last week put on Twitter, give me a more.
Oh, you talking about my thumbnail, Mike?
No.
Never mind.
Oh. Okay.
But somebody said on Twitter last week, give me a more argumentative or something community than the tech community, and I said that's not even close. It's the political community.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, that's true.
Jesus Christ, the makeup community.
Okay.
And then after that is the gaming community, and that's only because they have PewDiePie.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't.
Yeah. Talk about gaming. Will in here. Do any of you get on the Stadia kick on the Stadia giveaway?
I didn't.
Yeah, I got it up there in my bedroom, ready to do the unboxing.
Oh, did you get it? Okay. Wow, that was. When did you do it? Like the day they announced that you can get it for free?
Yep. And they deliver it too. Like
I gotta go try. I gotta see what tracking is. Yeah, really? They had me down coming close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Gary, you got a good point there. Big House is missing Will too. So am I.
Yeah. So I was impressed with that. But did you sign up? Did you have to sign up for the Stadia the 1 month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign up for the
and that's why I didn't go, because I don't like somebody forcing me to sign up for something for a month.
Well, you have to sign up. It's the stuff they give you is for the thing that you sign up for.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, I always feel like you're trying to trap me when you do stuff like that.
I mean, you can cancel it
Track you?
immediately as soon as you place the order for the stadium.
Okay.
As soon as you place the order for the stadium, George, you can cancel it right away.
Yeah, I'm not a
Really?
gamer.
Really? I'm keeping it for a month. I think they give you a month free.
Yeah, they give you a month for free.
All right, so you got it. You got it also, Mike. I didn't get.
Yeah,
that.
I got it coming. Yeah, and I think Will. I gotta ask my son because I sent him the link or sent him a notice. Say it's cool, but it's no PS5.
All right, so both on your channel and Ted's channel in the near future, we can expect to see some Stadia gaming stuff, I gather.
Well,
I'm just gonna see if that controller I can use it for other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Other gaming systems.
Yeah, like if I can connect it to my iPad, or if I can connect it to my projector.
I got to check it out. I started getting into it. I signed up on this phone under my work account, and then I wanted to say, well, let me see about playing a game, and it said, nope, this phone don't qualify. But typical, the Samsung's phone, the high end.
The LG G5 qualified. Damn.
Did it?
Yeah, the LG G8X. It qualified.
Yeah. Oh no, the G5 or the G8?
G8X.
G8X. Yeah. Did it? Okay.
You said G5 at first.
Yeah, you did. I'm like going, wow, they really went way back then.
Yes,
it connects to the
it's no PS5. Let me go get that PS5. Ooh, hold up. Talk amongst yourselves.
You got a PS5?
Look at he's borrowing lines from Flossie. I mean, come on now.
Oh, man.
All right.
So the next story you wanted is it Spotify?
Let's do Spotify because I just thought this was really interesting. Since we're in such a privacy mode, and as far as people wanting more privacy, and it seems like everything's going in the other direction. If you ask me. Okay.
From The Verge.
Got it up. It's on The Verge. Yep.
Spotify is about to know way more about what podcasts you enjoy, even you don't use Spotify. Yep. Spotify road to podcast dominance started brazenly enough. Hundreds of millions of dollars spent at once to buy a respected podcast network. Gimlet Media, a podcast creation app, Anchor.
Right.
And a podcast creation app, Anchor. Right. Now, nearly 2 years later, the company continued to spend, but this time with its sights set on conquering the podcast ad market.
Yep.
Yesterday, the company announced it spent $235 million to acquire Megaphone, a podcasting hosting company that also inserts and sells dynamic ads for podcasts.
Like we're getting right at the bottom of this screen.
So, but how are you going to see the ad? Usually podcasts you're listening to, no?
No, but most, even if you're listening to it on your phone, they can pop an ad up on the screen.
Oh, okay. So in the middle of the podcast, all of a sudden you're going to get this little blurb.
No, I'm not saying whether it'll interrupt the program, but they can certainly pop it up there to put it in front of your face like they're doing right here. So that's what I think is the point. That's what I think a dynamic ad is.
The acquisition through largely isn't a flashy as some of the company's other deals, but it sets Spotify up to become a force in podcast ad sales. With Megaphone, Spotify wants to dominate the podcast advertising and become the main ad seller for shows through inside and outside of its network. This could have repercussions not just for where and how advertisers and podcast networks spend the money, but for how much Spotify knows about the listener's behavior, both inside and outside the platform. So I'd like to know how they figure that out on the outside, but okay.
I have a story coming later that'll blow your mind as far as how much they know about you. But go ahead.
The podcast ads have become increasingly sophisticated with swapping in and out of based on who's listening and what ad deals are active. Dynamic advertising is, as this is called, has a big change from static podcast ads that were built into the show forever. Now, podcast ads act more like the web, a rotating cast of ads targeted to a person based on what needs and what needs an audience that day. Still, the target for most of these a limit by lack of user data. At most, the hosting services know where their listeners are based, but what kind of devices are listening on and the app they're using to listen. This is totally changes with Spotify. Microphone knows for its hosting and dynamic ad insertion services. Spotify knows listeners' names, billing information, and where they live, their age, and what music they like. And it shows they enjoy who they're friends with on Spotify, what devices they use, and pretty much of their data. It's still not as much as Facebook or Google knows about people online, but significantly more information that podcasters have previous known about their audiences.
And that makes sense. I mean, look at that list: name, billing information, where you live, your age, your music that you like, the other shows you enjoy, who their friends are, what devices they use. That's a long list, and that's nothing compared with Facebook and Google.
Well, okay, but you're giving them that information if you want to Spotify. Yeah, so they got the basis, and then I don't know. It goes either way because you give your information to Google when you set up an account.
But I think all these companies, including Spotify here, depend on the fact that you're not going to read all that fine print.
Oh no,
that you're agreeing to, and that's what they're banking on.
No, yeah. Naturally, Spotify harnesses this data to sell and insert ads through its proprietary streaming ad insertion technology, which debuted in January for its own internal shows. These ads are inserted in real time as opposing to being swapped out ahead of listening. It means Spotify's system makes live decisions about which ads a specific listener would hear based on their data and also based on the goals of the various ad deals Spotify is currently running.
Yeah. So it's 9:39, and I think there's another story I want to get to.
All right.
But it's basically, he's right, that they're doing it the same way they do it on the web. I mean, we're seeing this. Look at this one flashing. This thing is popping in here based on what they're finding out or what they know about me as I'm signed on.
Oh, it's always like that. You go to Facebook, you look up.
Right, but podcasts haven't done that as yet. But I guess from now on they're going to start doing it.
So I wonder
if podcast usually when you see an ad, it's just stuck there, and you see that ad for the whole show. But now you're going to have them be interactive.
All right. I wonder if Spotify is going to come out with something like YouTube Premium. You don't want to deal with ads? Hey,
that would be a next logical step, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can see that coming.
Okay, I thought the next story. This blew my mind. Let me see if I see that. Yeah, that graph is down here. Ted, you want to read the next story?
Yep.
Okay.
About the greed for data.
Yeah, because you won't be able to see it as we go through the story. But when we get down to the graph, I pulled the graph down and loaded it on my computer. When we get there, I'm going to read you a list of the crap that these people have on you. But Ted, whenever you're ready, this is on Tech News World again.
All right. Brian's hitting the haze. I'm just wishing.
Oh, Brian, thanks for coming by, brother. Always appreciate you.
Who's greedy for your data?
Yep.
I'm looking. I managed to touch the grant. Holy cow!
Oh, wait till I read you the stuff that's on there. What I did is I downloaded it. I turned it so I could read everything. You're not going to believe it. But go ahead, Ted.
At the University of San Diego, we are preparing cybersecurity experts to enter or progress within
Where
the
are
field.
you?
Huh?
Where are you?
I'm reading at the top. Oh, no, hold on. I was reading an ad. Damn.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's see.
Social media companies.
Oh, social media companies' top data grabber list.
Yeah, now skip the next ad.
When it comes to an appetite for data, social media outfits are the most voracious, according to a recent study released this month by cybersecurity company Clario Tech. The analysis of nearly 50 of the world's biggest brands found that Facebook collects more than 70% of all the data it can collect legally about someone using its service. Other social media brands also collected a lot of data about the users. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, collects almost 59% of data available to it, while Tinder sucks up nearly 56% and Grindr nearly 53%. Ads are how Facebook makes the most of their money, around $16.6 billion to be precise, based on the 2018 reports. So the more they know about you, the more they can sell on. Manager Mary Adamaniuk, in a company blog, as well as the usual, such as your name, location, email address, date of birth. They also collect a whole load of other things you may not be aware you give away. In fact, of the 32 items of personal information identified by Clario, only 7 aren't grabbed by Facebook, and that is your height, weight, mother's maiden name, bank account details, salary, country of birth, allergies, intolerances, and health and lifestyle. They don't capture that on?
Right.
I don't know, guys. I think if you have as much as deep data, metadata like Facebook collects, you can certainly guess on the health and the lifestyle.
Wait a minute. Did I just cover it up?
Over to the right, I see a chart, but it's sideways, kind of. But
okay, yeah, and I wanted to make this point of what's on this chart. Wait, I just lost it.
Oh, they don't want you to know.
No. Okay. Listen to the stuff they're grabbing about you. Your email, your name, age, gender, sex, sexual orientation, martial status, race, religious belief, live location, home address, employment status, job title, pet animal ownership, mobile phone number, landline, type of phone device, hobbies, interests, height. They have your height, your weight, mother's maiden name, but there's hardly any that they have any of that. Past employers, bank accounts details. Look at that. They have most of that. Salary, social position, friends. It's unfreaking believable. It just blew my mind how much data they grabbed. Yeah. You know, I would have never thought they had that much data.
Yeah. Now I'm surprised. Wait a minute, did I miss this? Does it show Google in this list?
I probably didn't. So
organizations. I mean, look at all the other companies. I mean, that are grabbing your data, and wait a minute. Google Maps is in there. See, they're doing individual apps.
So my guess, if Google's not in here, they're probably subcontracting it from somebody. Is my guess.
Yeah, it's just
But I just couldn't believe that list.
Mm-hmm.
They grabbed the whole caboodle.
Yeah,
That's why I laugh when people say, "What was his name?" Robert. Robert was on my Tuesday show talking about he doesn't use he uses iPhones because he likes privacy.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yes, he did. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, he bought that one.
You need to turn your mouth back toward the mic.
Who?
Ted.
Oh.
Because he's laying down now.
I'm so old.
Oh, nice. Take a shot at the old guy, why don't you?
Uncle, please stop. Stop. Look, we did. Stop. I ain't saying nothing.
All right, that's enough of that one. I just was amazed at the amount of data these people are grabbing from us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Big House has a question.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Pixel 4a5.
No?
I thought they already did. They didn't release.
Or there was a I thought it was on the second. It's like that was like, I forget. It was early, like
let me see
second or third, when you could at least pre-order it.
When is the Pixel 4a 5G available? Google doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm putting in here. November 19th.
Oh, okay.
So it's not until next
You can pre-order it.
Okay. Yeah, it's next Thursday, Big House.
Next Thursday. There you go.
Yeah. And wow, the old guy was the guy who went out and got it first. I'm amazed. Okay. All right, we're not going to get through many more stories, so you guys pick what one more story we should do. Which one do you think? Got the A51, the Samsung topping Apple.
I was going to say, what's this A51 thing?
Oh, okay. Remember how popular the A51 was?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. This is the next one coming up. All right. Ted, you want to read this one?
All right. I don't give a hoot about the A series.
As long as we can hear you because your face isn't facing the ceiling.
All right. Let me turn on my AirPod. Gosh.
Okay. Let me get rid of this.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Mike?
Can you hear me? Let's do a flashback. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. They don't exist anymore, do they?
That poor guy's unemployed now again.
This is on Gadgets 360, which they concentrate on Indian markets, but I just thought this was an interesting story because of how big the A51 is. Go ahead, Ted.
So the Samsung Galaxy A52 5G spotted on Geekbench with a Snapdragon 750 SoC, 6 gigabytes of RAM.
Yep.
It's also listed to ship with Android 11. Has been spotted on Geekbench. It carries a model number SMA526B, and the Samsung Galaxy A52 5G scored 298 points in a single core performance. Okay.
But I lost you. There you go.
Samsung Galaxy A52 5G may be powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G SoC as per purported Geekbench listing. The smartphone was spotted on Geekbench carrying the model number SM8526B. The Galaxy A52 5G will run on Android 11 and have 6 gigabytes of RAM. It was spotted on Geekbench by a Twitter user. It scored 298 points on the single score and 1,001 on the multi-core performance. As pointed by GSM Marina, the A51 5G does better in these departments with 700 points in the single core and 1,800 in the multi-core. However, this could be a pre-production model
of the Samsung A52 5G, and the performance of the launch device may vary. I'm just wasting my time reading all this. The Galaxy A52 5G will have a macro camera, but won't carry a zoom lens since it's expected to come with a 64 megapixel primary camera. This will be an upgrade from the A51 5G's 48 megapixel camera. The Samsung Galaxy A52 is likely to be available in a 4G LTE variant as well. The Galaxy A52 was among 9 phones to be trademarked in South Korea by Samsung back in January. As per a June report, the company will be adding wireless charging capabilities to its Galaxy A series in order to strengthen the competitiveness of its mid-range phones. Another report by the same publication has also claimed that the 2021 Galaxy A series would offer optical image stabilization.
Yeah, I think
The Samsung A52 will be released by the end of this year or early 2021 with the Geekbench database surface online. The release may not be too far away.
Yeah, so I just thought because the A51 was a really popular, mid-range phone for Samsung, and I'm like, and I kept thinking, I kept wanting to get that or the A71. I never got around to it. So
they took the A51,
right,
and then just recently updated to put 5G in it. Too.
Right. Okay, I didn't know
I would
that.
think that would be a different chipset they probably used.
It would have to be, yeah. Or an enhanced chipset at least.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just thought, since I never got around to getting the A51 or the A71, maybe I'll get around to the A52 when it comes out.
You see Big House's comment. He's right. They, for some reason, the M series in that Indian market, they always get like ridiculous batteries in them. They're just
but I don't think I want an M series. I just don't think they're very good.
Saying bring it here to the States, but
they only put it out because to make it as cheap as they could for Indian market. I just don't think they're very good phones. I think the A series is an excellent line of phones.
George, getting back to about what you're shocked that what you saw going on with Facebook having so much information.
Right?
Did you have Netflix?
No, never.
No,
I have never watched
a show called The Social Dilemma. Dilemma, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure that's what it deals with. How
that's what it's called.
Is it? You know what I'm talking about, right, Ted?
Yep. Yeah, saw the show. Good show. Good documentary.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I've never had Netflix, and at this point, as far behind as I always am on YouTube, it wouldn't pay me to go out and get anything else.
Then another one I could suggest then is you get it for free is if you go to the Joe Rogan podcast, that the Joe Rogan show on Twitter, they had one of the main people talking on there on the Joe Rogan show just not long ago, and it is really interesting what they talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you get somewhat an essence of what the show talked about, and how this guy is just trying to bring awareness of how these apps are meant to. Turns out we're a product being sold.
We're being sold to the advertisers.
Yeah, we're the product being sold to the advertiser.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Hey, speaking of being the product, we never really did talk about the Google Photos. I thought that was going to come up.
I almost put that in, but I just said there's too many stories.
Yeah, that's going to be evolving. I think.
I think so too.
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be something else going on. I don't know. What was it in the Telegram room? I was snarky said that they're going to wind up dropping it in a year, rebranding it as Google Pictures. Meanwhile, Samsung's going to come out with almost identical thing. That's what it was, and they'll call it, the Gallery Plus.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll drop it in the year because they want us to pay for this.
We're not. Well, I said rebranding, and then what I'm getting at is Samsung will try and up one and give you those features that you were getting for free.
Right.
And if you buy a Samsung phone of any kind,
you'll get it free again.
You'll get that definitely for free. You're not the photos, but their version.
Yeah, and I would take that, because I'm not going to pay them for it. Heck, I have all my photos backed up on Amazon Photos too, simply because.
But what about the quality? Do you get an option with that Amazon Photos?
Prime Photos original. It does original. What it won't do is video. It won't back up video files unless you pay extra.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, it's only my photos and stuff. So anyway.
Well, that's it.
We have used up our time, gentlemen. Yes, we have.
Meanwhile,
I feel bad for Will. Will's
probably on the floor sleeping.
Maybe he did go to sleep. Yeah. Has he been doing double shifts or something?
He had one weekend off, which was last weekend.
Okay.
And then he had this week off from school, I think it was, but apparently
look at what's he saying. That's a non-story. That is a very big story. iPhone users are using Google Photos because they.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally disagree with you there, Gary. But Gary, some of us were using that storage and still do to this day. I do.
You still use Google
I
Photos
think Gary
too?
was
What were you saying, Ted?
I'm not sure what Gary was actually talking about. Was he talking about the data?
No, he's saying that people don't use it. He's saying that it's a non-story because he doesn't think people use the photo. That's what I think he's saying.
People use Google Photos.
Yeah,
they use it by default.
Yeah.
Well, if they have it, a lot of people don't know it still exists. People still turn them on to it, especially iPhone users. They're like, wow, and they're having that, not enough storage issue.
Yeah.
So, there we go.
yeah. Juan says the same thing, basically that Gary was saying.
What's he say? He says, buy an old Pixel and transfer all your photos from another phone to back it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
But Pixels only have it for 2 years, so you're going to have to keep revolving. Pixels have free upload for 2 years only, so you're going to have to keep buying Pixels.
Yeah, and since I do keep buying Pixels, I think I'm good. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe unless you keep an OG Pixel, right?
Okay.
Are the OG Pixels grandfathered in?
I have no clue.
Well, that's something we got to look into to see how far it goes back. How far does it?
Well, I have photos on my Google Photos right now going back to the photos that started in 2006. I know that.
Yeah.
I think
I don't even know how. Is there even a way to count how many photos you have on a service?
Yeah, I don't know either. I'll bet you somebody has something out there to do it though.
I have, but my calendar goes all the way back to December 2000 somehow.
Okay, yeah, I think mine goes back to 2006. I think it might be before that.
Let's see. The Some Gadget Guy Discord album, we have 1,000 images on there. But guys,
we didn't.
Rocking like I think I have like 10,000 images on mine.
We didn't do anything about the glowing rectangles.
Don't you normally do something about a story or something, Ted? Don't you pick one out?
He picked the best glowing rectangles of the week, that kind of thing. And I did make sure I joined.
Yeah.
I did make sure I joined yesterday.
Do they check do they check to see what your height and weight is? Right. I did. Was Reddit on that list?
Oh, your sexual preference.
You
I don't know why Gary's not getting it. Like, so your storage is used up. Once your storage is used up, it's useless, especially on an iPhone.
Especially on an iPhone, they don't give you They don't give you.
Are you going to be sharing something, Ted, that I can pop on the screen here or not?
No, I'm on my tablet. I can't share anything. Could you go to the Glowing Rectangle subreddit, please?
Okay. Did I book?
But yeah, if you don't have storage, you can get messages. You can do updates. It's like you have a shell of a phone. TK from Total Tech once said the Pixel Experience ROM allows you to use the unlimited Pixel cloud storage.
Huh.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, there's going to probably be hacks on that one. So.
All right, Glowing Rectangle, Reddit. Okay. Okay, I'm there. Now,
let me know when I can do my spiel.
When you can do, oh, okay. Now, am I just pulling up the first one? The top one, which is the iPhone 12 mini green unboxing of Jay Will?
What?
That's the top one.
You have to sort it. You have to sort it based on day, top of the day. Top of the day, top of the morning to you.
Okay, where's the sorting? Oh, they want me to log in again? I logged in yesterday. I have to log in again?
You don't even need to log in on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to log in.
I don't see where the sort is. I've got join. I joined yesterday. And that's why it wants me to log in.
Hold on, why don't you share your screen? I can guide you.
Okay, all right. There's the share. Okay. So, where am I clicking to?
Where it says top.
Oh, right here.
Click top.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you click that down? Oh yeah, it's already sorted it by today. So yeah,
I thought
Jay Will's top of
Yeah, he just came out with.
I don't know if you're on the.
I got notified about this one about 2 hours ago. That's all.
And it already has 5. And it already has. I have doubts. I'm doing the recount, Georgia recount on this one. Hold on. How does he have 5?
Oh, yeah, 5 hours ago it was posted. Okay.
Where's the count?
I'm not seeing the count.
The upvote, it's between the up. It's between the up and the down arrow.
Oh, here's 6. Okay. So 6 is a lot?
It's a lot for the day, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to remember, Jay Will has what? What's he got? 500,000 subscribers or something?
Jay Will?
Yeah, he's up in that range, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go.
500. Well, I wouldn't say guy with numbers like that. I don't know why you would need to be on here. But Juan obviously disagrees. That's why he posted up his.
Well, if I know Jay, I mean, I could be wrong. He might be 300,000, but it's something in that range. And if I know Jay, he still considers himself, a small YouTuber. Is my guess. Let's see. Oh, I'm wrong. He has 122,000.
No.
I was thinking he had more at this point. Okay.
But the sub only has 1,300 followers. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so are you curious about?
Go ahead. Just tell me what I should do here. That's all.
Oh no, nothing. You're fine. You're right where you're supposed to be.
Okay.
It's okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on. The rule of the sub is content we feel deserves more attention. Okay, so welcome to this is the glowing rectangle subreddit, where the rule is that content that you feel deserves more attention should be posted and shared with the rest of Redditors. And not only the smallest, what's this, YouTubers can post. Oh my god. I think I have to get off this couch because
Good
guys,
idea.
I promise I do
like
this
that.
so much better.
I have to get off the couch.
But yeah, the glowing rectangles is just a community, a peer community that's, for the users, by the users, where instead of relying on YouTube's algorithm, and if you've been following today's stories, the algorithm is the devil. Instead, trust on the algorithm of your fellow peer in the tech community, where they will share content on what they feel deserves more attention. And
And Jay was listening to me when I said that, obviously.
That's what she said, Jay.
Well, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. You're talking to a pastor, by the way, in case you didn't know. Well, that's right. You already knew that anyway. Oh, and by the way, glowing rectangles. We have Juan Bagnell to thank for glowing rectangles. So thank you, Juan. And for those who may not know, you can imagine who'll be watching who may not, but Juan Bagnell is some gadget guy. So you want great stuff, go there and go to Jay Williams. Both of those guys put up great stuff constantly. And Team One.
And if we can ask anything of you guys tonight, if you do find any, videos that you think we should know about, go ahead and share them on the subreddit. And while you're there, just throw a few upvotes on whatever video post that you like.
Okay, so I think we're done. We're overtime, by the way.
Ding ding ding! I just saw a thing for Team 100.
Yeah, so did I. So yeah, folks, go watch Team 100. They are live now. So we have infringed into their time.
Well,
all right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Sign us out.
Let's see what Big
Getting
House.
closer than this yet.
Oh, Big House is asking what everyone's phone of the
I
year.
can speak for Jerome. Jerome said his was the Pixel 4a. What's his name? That Jonathan Morrison is probably going to be the iPhone SE2.
And I would have picked the Pixel 4a, but for me, this is probably going to be my phone of the year. The Microsoft Surface Duo.
I'm more interested in Mike's opinion on this. Mike,
okay.
What do you think?
I don't know. I just put a smart ass comment to Big House, but if for a new phone, I don't know. I really can't say. It's so, the lines are so blurred, and I just can't stomach thinking about spending $1,000 on a phone. So
yeah, I want to say the Pixel 4a, but I also want to say the iPhone 11. But then I want to say the 12.
The 4a. I think I
want to say the Galaxy S20 also. So
you know what? I'll take it back. The 4a, because it's a well-rounded phone.
Yeah.
Especially for the common folk.
Yeah, for the price, I'd probably pick the 4a. For innovation, I'll take the Microsoft Duo, Microsoft Surface Duo every time. But I'm prejudiced. I'm in love with the Duo. Yeah, you see what Juan said. I love this thing. I love this thing, and I am hooked on it. And I have the LG Velvet and the GS8 sitting right back here on the table, but I take this thing to work with me every day that I go to work. So that should tell you something. So I carry the other two phones plus
every breath he takes, he's got a Duo with him. My vote is just for an extra $50, the LG V60 with the dual screen case.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
your 5G, your best 5G option there.
Even though it didn't work on, isn't that the one that didn't work on
Visible.
It's visible.
Yeah.
Invisible?
The Sprint phone,
Yeah.
isn't it?
All right. Says a lot for what you think about it. Then I'll give you that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're on Visible, then you have to find your. I guess the best phone of the year doesn't work on Visible. That reflects badly on Visible.
Big House is agreeing with you, even though he doesn't have it yet. Okay.
Yeah. $400, 5G, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, can record 8K, and again, $400, brand new.
Cool. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry we didn't have Will all the way through, but Mike, we are so grateful that you're back, at least for whatever little while we've got you.
Well, I'll be back. I'll just make this just real quick. I'll be back for the next 3 weeks. I might take a week off.
Okay, that's fine.
Kind of like go and see what goes on from there.
All right. The big question: do you want to host next week, or you want to just leave it with me and Ted to do the hosting?
You know what? I'll do Black Friday.
Okay, which is
I got time off. And
Hey,
is what 2 weeks from
2 weeks. Yeah.
today? Okay. All right. So next week, folks, we're going to be on TED Talks, and hopefully we'll get Will in. I hope that he's able to stay with us, and I guess say a prayer for Will anyway. And
Forgot about that.
Big House, thank you so very much, brother. You always come through. I really, really appreciate it. And in 2 weeks, we'll be on Mike's channel. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Everybody have a very blessed and safe weekend.
Thanks,
and
Brian.
we will see you next week. Thanks, Thanks again. Oh, there's Brian. Brian's coming through, as always.
oh,
All right.
thanks,
Big House.
Brian.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian and Big House.
All right.
All right,
See
we're gonna do the pregnant pause now. Here we go.